So everybody's been asking me, Brady, what's in your bag? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. Hey everybody, I'm Brady with Golf Ascending, and I'm going to do the 2021 What's in My Bag. We did one last year, doing a new one, probably going to do one every year, kind of a benchmark, show where we're at. And my entire bag has changed, literally every club. And I didn't think that'd happen because I used to make fun of Tyson for buying clubs so much. Which Tyson's What's in the Bag will be coming out in a couple weeks. We'll put that in the description below, the link to that. But right now we're gonna go over my bag, what clubs I have, what accessories, other things I put in there. And so let's get to it, show you what's in my bag. All right, so I'm gonna start out with the top end of the bag. And first I'm gonna show you some of my cool head covers because they are cool. First off, I got this custom-made BYU head cover. I am a big BYU football fan, and that's for my driver. And then, got the beautiful Bettinardi. If you have not looked into Bettinardi head covers, they're awesome. They're also expensive, which is why I only have one, but look at that, the quality on that. That thing is a beauty. So that goes on my 5-wood, and then check it out, gotta represent GA gear, right? Golf Ascending. Me and Tyson both got one of these. This is on my 3-wood. And then, last of all, for the woods, I had this custom made as well, designed it. Ben Hogan, the Hawk. Love Ben. So, those are my head covers. Well, including this too. Another BYU head cover. Has a little cougar on that. I think it's pretty cool. And this is the bag without the head covers on it, and this covers my alignment sticks right here, Golf Ascending. All right, so let's start at the top end. So first, we got my driver. This is the Cobra King F9 driver. I love this thing. This was one of the first changes I made to the bag. Before I made a switch to this, I had the Nike Covert series, the driver and the woods. They were the Ruby Reds, the 2.0, and those were great. But I tested this out. I watched some videos, other reviews, and I performed really well with this. So this is the driver I have in my bag. It is set at a 10.5 degree. I might mess with that in the future, but it has a Atmos Fujikura regular shaft on it, and yeah, that's basically it for the driver. And so after I bought the driver, I decided I wanted to match the woods. So I ended up buying the 3-wood of the F9 and the 5-wood. And so the 3-wood is at a 15.5 degree, same shaft. And the 5-wood is at a 19.5 currently. And then I also, this is kind of a newer addition and kind of a change up in my bag. I got the 7-wood right here, or some would call it the Heavenwood, which I have at 23.5 degrees. So the reason I got this was basically for consistency. And let me get to that as I talk about my irons in a second, because you're gonna notice I have some more unique irons. And then another one of my longer clubs, currently I have a Cobra King utility iron. It's the black edition, and it's the 3-iron. I do have it currently set to a 21 degree, so it plays a little bit more like a 4-iron. And we do have a video on this. If you want to check that out, we'll put a link in there, a review video. This is a pretty darn cool club. I used to use it more off the... I use it more off the tee as like a driving iron because it's not the club I tend to like to use off the deck. I think it tends to be with my swing speed. Utility irons or longer irons tend to be better with some with faster swing speed. But it is really good off the tee. I think it's been better since I put it to a higher loft, to the 21 degree. And it has this awesome black shaft. It's the AMT, and it is also a regular 300. But awesome club, you should check out that video. Now let's get to my irons. So I recently switched to the Cobra 1-length irons. The Cobra 1-length. So if you've watched some of our previous videos, you know that I, this last year, have switched to the single plane golf swing. So Mo Norman's way of swinging a golf club. So not the conventional golf swing, but the single plane, somewhat similar to what Bryson DeChambeau does and some other pro golfers that teach the single plane. But Mo Norman's is a little bit different. So I switched to the one lengths because I felt like that would be something that would help me with consistency. Because with the single plane golf swing, you have a totally different setup. And I felt like if I could simplify that setup and do the one lengths, that'd be super helpful. Obviously, Bryson DeChambeau uses them as well. And so it's something I want to test out. I did that later in the year, about October. I was having some of the best rounds of golf in my life last year, and then I changed up my whole swing. Like, it was kind of weird. I was playing really well, and Tyson was like, why would you change your swing? But I hated some of my inconsistencies, so that's why I switched to the Cobra one lengths. So, which brings me back to the 7-wood. Like I said, the 7-wood, the reason I had that, it replaced the Ping G400 hybrid in my bag, which I actually really liked that club. I did really well with it. But it presented a different swing and a different length of shaft in my game and kind of took away that consistency. There is a one-length hybrid, but I chose not to go with the one-length hybrid, but went with the 7-wood. That way my woods all swing pretty similar and have about the same length of shaft, and then all of my irons, even down to my sand wedge, have the one length. And these ones use the KBS shafts, and it is a regular. And they are all the length of a standard 7-iron. But with the one lengths, they do weight things out differently, especially when you get to the 4 and 5 irons. They're weighed a little differently to make up for distances and everything like that. But pretty good clubs. I like them. I'm testing them out. I will come out with a vlog soon on my experience with switching to single plane, what I've learned. As soon as we have that, I'll put a description in this video as well and a link. So stay tuned for that. That's talking about my whole experience of the whole switch, what I've learned, and the main tips that would help someone who's switching to single plane and trying it out. And I just felt like the one lengths would help with that. And with the one length irons, I play a 5-iron through the gap wedge within the Cobra F9 one lengths. And then after the gap wedge, we go to the sand wedge, which I use one of the newest wedges they have out there, which is the Cobra King one length Mim wedge. This is a really pretty club. It has that black finish, and I'm not gonna lie, this is super soft. It feels so good. And I honestly didn't think I could be switched from my Vokeys. I had the Vokeys SM7s, and I had the 50, 54, and 58s. And I really love those wedges, but I decided, hey, if I'm gonna go to one length, I should just go all out. I should get the wedge. And here's the other thing that changed up my bag a little bit, and this is the thing that's gonna be interesting in the future to see what I end up doing, is I had 3 wedges. Well, technically, I still have one of them covered, but now, after the gap wedge, I only have the sand or the 56 degree. I no longer have a lob wedge. And the reason for that is that I kind of want to simplify my short game and my wedge game as well. So I want to just be super familiar with the one wedge. And so whether that's the short chips, the bump and runs, the hitting out of the sand, kind of hitting lob shots or flop shots, I just use the one club and I'm super familiar with the loft. But we'll see in the future, and it could happen this year, there is a possibility that I might take out this King Utility Club, the 3-iron, and throw in a 60 degree Mim wedge. Because me and Tyson recently did a little competition where we were chipping and seeing who could get it closest to the pin. And when we got to those situations where the pin was right behind a bunker and we had to get over it, I actually had some troubles with that with the 56, and so that's where I was like, oh, I kind of miss that lob wedge. That can be a useful tool in the bag. But for now, I'm going to see how I can do with scoring and just keeping the 56 in the bag. And the reason why I would take out the King Utility is because, like I said earlier, it's not one I usually use off the deck. It's generally something I use just off the tee. So we'll see. It doesn't have many uses, but when I use it off tee, it generally gives me pretty good results, which is why I couldn't let it go just yet. Another reason why I might take out the King utility iron and replace it with a 60-degree wedge is because, again, similar to the Ping, it is the odd man out. It's the club that is a different length, a different setup, and again, it's one of the clubs I don't tend to trust hitting off the deck, but mostly tee up. So that is a possibility. Might switch it out for a 60-degree lob wedge in the future. So the last club I got is the putter, of course. So we do have a video on this putter. It is the Bettinardi Innove 6.0, and I got a nice little Bettinardi head cover to go with it. This club is a beauty. We do have, like I said, we have a review video, a link to that. This has been my favorite putter by far. It's just the perfect putter for me as far as weight, as far as softness, distance control. And I've recently bought quite a few different putters or tested out different putters, and I found some pretty good ones that I like, but none of them have compared to this. This is an awesome club, and recently I actually had it customized right here around the B and around the B over here. It was red. It kind of had like this red and white and blue theme, but I'm not the biggest fan of red, and so I painted them white. So now it's just blue and white, which kind of goes with my BYU setup, which is, you know, I'm a big fan. And that does it for the clubs. And so next I want to go into what accessories I have in the bag and even the bag itself. All right, so the next thing I want to go over is which ball I play. So I decided recently to choose a ball that I just always play with. So there's only so many things you can control in golf as far as consistency goes, and a ball is one of them for feel. When you hit, especially around the greens and with your wedge and putting. So I chose, well actually I got fitted a little while ago, this was a few years ago, and on the list of balls they said that would be good for me and my type of swing were the Titleist NXT Tour balls. And these have been pretty great, but they no longer make these balls, Titleist, so now they have the Titleist Tour Soft, which is their mid-range ball. But as long as I can keep finding these like on eBay and in good shape, I'll buy them because they can be pretty cheap. But Tour Soft is probably one that I'm going to go to after I can't find these anymore. But that's the ball I play. And then I have some of these training aids here. These are ones that I generally keep in my bag, especially when I go to the range. Like I said, I did switch to the single plane golf swing, and so this is actually a tool from Todd Graves' Golf Academy. He's the one who teaches Mo Norman's golf swing, the single plane golf swing. He was tutored by Mo Norman and learned everything about a swing, and this helps with setup. It says where to line up your ball, line up your feet, and it also kind of helps you align where you're aiming. So it's a pretty cool little tool. All right, another training aid that I have in my bag is the Orange Whip Swing Trainer. This is a pretty sweet training aid that I've really enjoyed. We do have a link in the description for 10% off if you are interested in this. It is awesome. It's been great for helping with over the top, fixing over the top, good for lag. It's good for strength training as well. I also convinced Tyson to get one too because he's like, hey, this is pretty sweet. So really good training aid. Again, you could get 10% off if you click on the link below. But yeah, I keep this in the bag because, man, using this before I do a round, it feels so good. And again, like I said, it kind of has that strength training. And so after swinging this and then you pick up a driver because of the weight, it's like, whoa, this driver feels like a feather. So it's pretty cool. Ta-da! I decided to pull out everything from the bag so I'm not reaching all over the bag. So now I'll go over the contents that I have in my bag that I generally bring with me. One more thing that is on my bag that I always bring with me is my rangefinder. This is the Blue Tees S2 Pro Slope rangefinder. It is pretty comparable to the Bushnell rangefinder, but it's at a more affordable price. We did do a video on it if you want to check it out and see the review. And also, we'll put a link below. You could get 10% off if you click on that link and use our coupon code. So pretty cool. I like that. And then let's kind of go into the contents of my bag as they're out here. I need to show you what I generally have. So first off, tools. I keep this loft adjustment tool. It's from Cobra. Probably came with one of my clubs. to adjust the lofts of all my clubs, which is cool. I can adjust all my fairway woods, so 3 clubs there, my driver, and my utility iron. So that's nice to have if I want to change things up, especially at the range. If I'm like, hey, let's test out these different lofts. So I have that always in the bag, and if someone else needs it. Sharpie, mark my ball, or whatever else you need. Ball marker and divot repair tool. Got the Cougars. And this is something cool that I recently put in my bag. It is a cool little tee setup that, you know, when you go to the range and you have to hit off the mats and you have to use their rubber tees, and they're generally just not the height that you want when you're hitting, especially for the driver. So I got this so that I could control the height for my tees. So it's pretty cool. I keep it in my bag. And then I have these tees, which are pretty cool. Been testing out with some different tees. Again, if you can keep something consistent in golf, that tees and the tee height is one of the things you can do. So I decided to get some tees with the lines on it, but it is hard to turn down free tees when the course gives them to you, or the club. So, but I want to do these because to be more consistent. And glove. So check out this flashy thing. This is actually an Asher golf glove. It's pretty cool. They've been kind of catching some steam lately. And they're actually from Utah, which is where we're from, which is pretty cool. So I've been testing out these gloves. I haven't tried this one yet, but I do have a couple others that I'm trying out. Another glove that I like is the Footjoy Stay Soft. It's a little bit more pricey than some of their more, like they have some cheaper ones, but these ones feel really good. So I like the Stay Soft from Footjoy as well. Some other gloves I decided to recently put in my bag are a winter glove from Footjoy, a Winter Soft, and rain grip. So it doesn't rain a ton in Utah, but when it does, it'd be nice to have this. I've played in the rain for sure. But Utah is also really cold. Me and Tyson have played in below freezing weather before, and it gets pretty darn cold. So it's kind of nice to have these gloves on hand. The interesting thing about these ones is they do not have a grip like you would expect on a glove. And so it is a little bit different of a feeling, but if you're freezing, you'd probably rather have that. Something else I do is just use the right glove for my right hand if it's cold, and then I use a regular golf glove for the left hand that's really gripping the club. So those are pretty cool. Something else I like to keep in my bag is this cool little ball picker-upper that I got from Amazon. It's extendable and it's light, something I can keep in the bag, so pretty cool to have. I used to have a really long, big one that was like the length of a driver, and it was pretty thick. It's from Callaway, and it just kind of stuck out in my bag. It was heavy, it took a lot of room, so I took that one out, and now I have this, and it just sits in one of these side pockets, so that's pretty cool. And then, as you may know, me and Tyson have to have some film equipment when we go out on the course, so I am generally one who holds the film equipment. Believe it or not, we film with an iPhone, and that's where we do the majority of our filming. And then we have a Shure mic, which is kind of cool, that we just kind of attach onto the top of the iPhone. And then we have some other tripods, but this is one we generally bring with us. It could be good for, you know, short shots or showing a putt, or great for holding and doing selfie mode. So I keep that in the bag, as well as other accessories for the mic. And another item that I keep in the bag, like I said, it rains every once in a while, but not all the time in Utah. But this is a rain jacket and rain pants, so you can totally cover up your pants. So that's pretty cool to have. And one more thing on my bag, and you're probably wondering, because I didn't mention this, but I have 2 bags here. This is the bag I generally use. It's my cart bag, the Ping cart bag. It is super nice. I know I no longer have a Ping club in my bag, as you noticed. But these bags are just so nice, and they're far superior to other brands, I think, that I just had to get the Ping bag. I love it. It has so many great pockets. I even have this cool cooler pocket here. I can put my snacks in, my drinks, whatever. And so it's been pretty good. Another thing on the bag, the towel, of course. This isn't the towel I always use. I like to use my BYU towel that I have over here. But this is kind of a cool little thing, little tea sharpener. We have the video on that, you can check that out, but kind of a nice thing to have if you have broken tees and you can't stick it into the ground, you can sharpen that up. And so that is basically what I have in my bag. All right, so that's what I have in the bag for the 2021 golf season. I'm pretty excited for the season. Like I said, a lot of changes. Literally every club has changed. I've even switched up my swing to the single plane golf swing. So it's gonna be an interesting year. I hope to shoot pretty low and hit some records with my scoring, and we'll just have to see how it goes. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, press that like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, because me and Tyson post golf content every week.